Archangel Michael saw the attack that was formed against you. This message is your escape route, but it requires immediate action. My beloved child, a heavy stirring has moved in the unseen, and it pressed upon Archangel Michael with such urgency that he stepped forward before the heavens themselves could announce him. He has watched something gather around you, something plotted long before you even sensed a shift in your atmosphere. And today, he speaks because the title you have just read is not poetic, not symbolic, and not meant to be taken lightly. Archangel Michael saw the attack that was formed against you, and this message is your escape route, but it requires immediate action. His rise is not designed to shake you. It was designed to bring you. Yet what the enemy constructed in secrecy, heaven decided to expose in the open. And that is why you were drawn here at this exact moment. There are no accidents with the divine. There are no coincidences in the realm of the spirit. There is timing, alignment, and intervention. And heaven has just intervened for you. Listen closely, because Archangel Michael does not step into your timeline unless something has reached a critical point. There hath been a spiritual structure forming around you, layer by layer, built through subtle discouragement, silent pressure, unexpected losses, and emotional instability. What looked like ordinary stress was actually designed to weaken your spiritual defenses. What looked like random disappointments were coordinated attempts to drain your hope. What looked like minor misunderstandings were strategic cracks meant to distract and divide you. And every time you began to rise, something pulled you down again. Archangel Michael saw it before you even named it. That is why he is standing with his sword exposed, not resting at his side, not covered, but unsheathed and burning. Now hear this. The attack against you was not formed by a single moment or a single person. It was layered, intentional, and patient. It was hoping you would not notice. It was hoping you would become numb. It was hoping you would say, "This is just life." But something in you began to resist silently, even on days you felt defeated. Something in you refused to surrender completely. And that resistance, that stubborn spark in your spirit, triggered heaven's involvement. When you refuse to bow to darkness, even in weakness, heaven calls it strength. And because of that, Archangel Michael was dispatched, not to warn you of your downfall, but to guide you into escape. But here is where you must pay attention. Escape requires movement. Deliverance requires alignment. Protection requires awareness. Heaven can open a door for you, but you must choose to walk through it. Archangel Michael is not showing you the attack to frighten you. He is revealing it so you can break free from it. He is showing you the strategy so you can dismantle it. And he is giving you this message because the enemy's time window is closing, and your breakthrough window is opening. There is something you were supposed to step into this year, something significant, something transformative. But a spiritual obstruction has been standing at the threshold, waiting for the perfect moment to stop you. It has been whispering doubt when you tried to plan. It has been raising obstacles when you tried to move forward. It hath been stirring confusion when clarity was needed most. And Archangel Michael is saying, with force and authority, that the obstruction is being confronted right now. Not tomorrow. Not eventually. Now. Feel this in your spirit. What was formed against you is losing its grip. What was designed to trap you is being dismantled. What was meant to delay you is being exposed. But you must stay with this message until the very end. Because each word is unfolding in sequence, revealing steps that cannot be skipped. If you stop now, you will leave the escape route incomplete. And this moment is too important to abandon halfway. The enemy wanted you overwhelmed. Heaven wants you awakened. The enemy wanted you silent. Heaven wants you sharpened. The enemy wanted you spiritually blind. Heaven wants you spiritually equipped. This message is not motivation. It is intervention. And while you listen, the atmosphere around you is shifting. Some of you will feel a weight lift. Some will feel a sudden calm. Some will feel a tingling or warmth on your shoulders. That is confirmation, not coincidence. Archangel Michael is near. Before this moment ends, I want you to breathe slowly and let this truth anchor itself. You are not standing alone. You are not under attack without defense. You are not targeted without protection. You are chosen, and the chosen are covered. The chosen are defended. The chosen are warned before harm arrives. And the chosen are provided a way out, always. Hold on, because what comes next will show you exactly why heaven rushed this message to you. You not drift now. The next revelation is the turning point you have been waiting for. Type "I am under divine defense" in the comments if this is touching your spirit. Lesson code 441 has been released. My treasured one. The moment Archangel Michael stepped forward, something shifted in the realm surrounding your life. You may not have seen it with your eyes, but your spirit felt the tremor. There is a reason this message reached you after the last one settled in your heart. Heaven has more to unveil, and none of it is random. When Archangel Michael observes an attack forming, he does not move slowly, and he does not wait for the enemy to strike first. He moves at the exact second when the strike is being prepared, because his assignment is not reaction but prevention. And right now, he is standing between you and something that was never meant to touch you. There is a deeper layer to the attack you were facing, and it goes beyond the surface-level distress you assumed was just a difficult season. The enemy has been studying your patterns, your emotional rhythms, your vulnerabilities, and even the moments when you are most distracted. This is why the pressure intensified when you tried to rest. This is why confusion rose when clarity was near. This is why heaviness settled when you tried to pray. The attack was not only external, it was psychological and spiritual. The intention was to exhaust your inner strength until you accepted defeat without even realizing you had given in. Archangel Michael revealed this because you need to understand what was happening behind the scenes before he can guide you out of it completely. There is something important you need to hear. The enemy feared your next decision. Not your past, not your failures, not your past battles, but your next decision. Because one aligned step could shift your entire trajectory. That single moment of obedience, clarity, or breakthrough would disrupt everything that had been slowing you down. That is why the enemy moved quickly. That is why the spiritual pressure became intense. Not because you were weak, but because your next step was powerful. Heaven saw it. The enemy sensed it. And you felt it without fully understanding it. Archangel Michael is revealing that the attack was structured around frustration and delay. It was not just misfortune. It was a targeted attempt to keep you stuck in cycles that repeat themselves. You have seen versions of this pattern before. Doors opening and then closing suddenly, relationships forming and then dissolving without clear reason, opportunities rising and then disappearing at the last second, hope building only to feel crushed again. These were not coincidences. They were patterns deliberately designed to discourage your spirit. And every time you came close to a breakthrough, something shifted to distract, confuse, or overwhelm you. But listen carefully. This message is your escape route because heaven has decided that the cycle ends now. What once had access to your life is losing permission. What once whispered doubt is losing influence. What once stirred fear is being silenced. Archangel Michael saw the strategy, intercepted the momentum, and stepped into your timeline with authority. He is not simply protecting you, he is dismantling the structure that allowed the attack to form in the first place. You may feel tired, but you are not defeated. You may feel stretched, but you are not broken. What you perceive as weakness, heaven sees as endurance. And your endurance became the alarm that summoned this intervention. Archangel Michael is guiding you toward clarity, and part of that clarity is understanding that the attack was external but the escape route is internal. Your perspective, your awareness, your spiritual posture must shift into alignment. When heaven opens a door, your spirit must recognize it and walk through it with confidence rather than hesitation. There is something else you need to know. A shift in your relationships is coming. Not everyone around you was meant to witness the next stage of your calling. Some people have unknowingly been doorways for spiritual interference. They did not intend harm, but their influence allowed certain energies to reach you. Archangel Michael has been adjusting the connections around you because your next season requires purity, awareness, and discernment. He is moving people, repositioning you, and restoring the boundaries that were blurred. Do not be surprised if some distancing occurs. It is protection, not punishment. Now breathe for a moment. Feel the weight of this revelation settling in your spirit. You are being guided out of something that would have drained you far more deeply had this message not reached you in time. You were not late. You were not delayed. You arrived at the exact second heaven needed you to. And now, you are being led step by step into the escape route designed specifically for your situation, your calling, and your spiritual destiny. The next revelation will show you what to do, how to respond, and how to align yourself with the divine instruction unfolding through this message. Stay close, because the clarity that is coming is unlike anything you have received before. Before you move on, allow this truth to anchor itself fully. You are being rescued while the enemy thought you were alone. Heaven is always ahead of the attack. Archangel Michael saw it forming, and now he is watching it fall apart. Trust me, what is about to unfold next will change how you see this entire season. Do not drift. Do not step away. The breakthrough is closer than it has ever been. Type "I walk in divine escape" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 229 is now released. My dear heart, the moment you stepped into this next phase of the message, the atmosphere around you shifted once again, because what Archangel Michael is preparing to reveal now is not just information. It is strategy. It is direction. It is the empowerment you have been unknowingly waiting for. When heaven reveals an escape route, it does not simply point to the door. It prepares your spirit to walk through it with confidence, authority, and clarity. That is what this part of the message is designed to do. Archangel Michael has been standing guard, but now he wants to guide your steps. He wants to show you how to reclaim spiritual ground that was quietly taken from you through subtle distractions and emotional drain. He wants to restore the fire inside you that was dimmed by repeated disappointments. And he wants to prepare you for the moment when everything breaks open in your favor. There is a truth you must understand before you move deeper into this revelation. The attack against you did not begin at the surface. It started in the unseen, through thoughts, fears, and moments when your confidence wavered. The enemy did not try to overwhelm you all at once. It attempted to wear you down slowly. A little confusion here. A little anxiety there. A little discouragement sprinkled in moments where you least expected it. The enemy wanted to make you feel unprepared for what heaven had already declared over your life. But here is the revelation Archangel Michael brings. The enemy's goal was never just to block you. It was to blind you, to make you forget the power you carry, the authority you hold, and the spiritual covering that has been active in your life since the day you were formed. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that the escape route begins with awareness. Awareness of who you are. Awareness of what was said against you. Awareness of what heaven is now dismantling on your behalf. You were never fighting alone. You were never abandoned. You were never unprotected, even in your darkest emotional moments. Heaven was watching, waiting for the moment when your spirit reached the point of divine alignment. That moment happened when you felt tired and still refused to give up. When you felt overwhelmed but still whispered a small prayer. When you felt broken but kept moving anyway. That act of endurance became the signal for intervention. And now the intervention has begun. There is a specific instruction Archangel Michael is bringing forward for you now. You must stop agreeing with the narrative that the enemy tried to place in your mind. You are not behind. You are not stuck. You are not losing time. You are not forgotten. These lies were spoken into your spirit as if they were your own thoughts, but they were planted to weaken your resolve. Archangel Michael is removing those false seeds right now as you listen and replacing them with truth. The truth that you have authority. The truth that you are chosen. The truth that your calling has weight in heaven. The truth that your presence disrupts darkness. And the truth that your breakthrough was scheduled long before the attack ever formed. This next part of your escape route requires courage. You must allow yourself to release what was draining your spirit. There were people, habits, conversations, and environments that quietly became open doors for discouragement. They attached themselves to your daily emotions without you realizing how much they were pulling you down. But Archangel Michael is stepping in to break those attachments. He is positioning you for clarity. He is strengthening your discernment. He is awakening your spiritual sensitivity so you can clearly recognize what belongs in your life and what does not. Nothing that drains you will survive the next season of your journey. Nothing that distracts you will be allowed to follow you into the place heaven is guiding you toward. There is another revelation you must hear. A divine reversal has begun. What was meant to harm you is turning into a lesson that empowers you. What was designed to block you is becoming the fuel that launches you forward. The enemy hoped the pressure would silence you, but it is making you spiritually sharper. The enemy hoped fear would paralyze you, but it is awakening your authority. The enemy hoped you would collapse, but instead, you are rising. You are growing. You are becoming aligned with heaven's strategy. And this alignment is the very thing the enemy fought so fiercely to prevent. Archangel Michael is preparing you for a season of clarity unlike anything you've experienced. Ideas will return. Energy will return. Peace will return. Direction will return. But most importantly, your spiritual confidence will return. You will feel stronger, louder in spirit, and more grounded in truth than ever before. And when this strength settles in you, the attack that was formed against you will lose all remaining influence. You are not merely escaping. You are ascending. You are stepping into territory that was always meant for you. Before this moment closes, take this to heart. You are crossing from confusion into clarity, from pressure into purpose, from delay into divine timing. Heaven has initiated your turning point. Archangel Michael is guiding you through it. And the enemy can do nothing to stop what has already been activated in your life. Hold tight, because the next revelation will uncover what heaven is about to accelerate for you. Trust me, you will want to hear what comes next. Wait for it, because the next unfolding will open your eyes to a truth you never saw coming. Type "I rise through divine intervention" in the comments if your spirit feels this. Blessing code 884 is now active. Now, before we go deeper, Take a moment to like, share, comment, hype this message, and subscribe so more souls receive what heaven is releasing here today. Every soul that stands with this mission becomes a vessel of light in a world drowning in confusion. When you sow into this work, you are not supporting a channel. You are expanding a spiritual refuge where God speaks to those who are desperate for clarity. The Word says that those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed, and today that promise is alive for you. I feel led to say this clearly. I am inviting you personally to step into this moment of impact. Just as Archangel Michael revealed the escape route, your support becomes part of someone else's rescue. This is not a donation. It is a prophetic act of alignment. As you give through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, may your seed open doors that were shut and awaken blessings that were delayed. Step forward boldly, release your offering, and let heaven honor your obedience. My chosen soul, as you step into this next unfolding, feel the shift that is taking place inside and around you. Archangel Michael stands positioned at your right side, not merely as a protector but as a revealer of hidden movements taking shape in the spirit. This part of the message requires your full attention, because heaven is bringing you into an understanding of why the attack against you was designed so intricately. You were targeted not because you were weak, but because you carry something the enemy fears. You carry influence. You carry a spiritual imprint. You carry a destiny that echoes beyond this present moment. The resistance you felt was not random. It was a sign of the magnitude of your purpose. And now that Archangel Michael has exposed the intentions of the enemy, heaven is preparing to rebuild what was shaken and reinforce what was vulnerable. There is something powerful happening inside you right now. Parts of you that were once uncertain are awakening. Parts of you that felt numb are being stirred. And parts of you that felt lost are being redirected. Archangel Michael is bringing clarity to the places where confusion tried to reign. He is restoring sight where spiritual fog settled. He is strengthening the areas where you felt drained. You are not simply recovering. You are being restructured. Heaven is reconstructing your inner posture so that nothing formed against you can regain the influence it once had. You may not realize it yet, but you are already walking out of the old season and into the new one. The escape route is not something you are waiting to enter. You are already on it. Each revelation is another step forward, another brick removed from the trap the enemy attempted to build around you. But now heaven wants to show you another truth. The attack against you intensified during moments when you tried to rise because something in your spirit began signaling a new spiritual level. Every time you tried to elevate, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, the enemy sensed your acceleration. Arcus does not fight what is stagnant. It fights what is rising. You were rising, even when you felt low. You were progressing, even when you felt stuck. Heaven saw your effort. The enemy saw your momentum. That is why the pressure increased. But Archangel Michael is here to tell you that pressure was not defeat. It was confirmation. Confirmation that your spirit had begun aligning with a breakthrough that was already written for you. The enemy cannot stop what heaven has decreed, but it tries to delay it. And heaven has now ended that delay. There is another layer you must understand. The attack did not only target your emotions, it targeted your focus. Because the enemy knew that if it could distract your mind, it could delay your steps. Some of the heaviness you felt was not yours. Some of the anxiety that settled on you was borrowed from atmospheres around you. Some of the fear you felt was not born within you but planted around you. Archangel Michael has been standing guard to remove those foreign weights from your spirit. He has been cutting off spiritual cords that tied you to burdens you were never meant to carry. You may have felt confused, but heaven was never confused. You may have felt alone, but heaven never left you alone. Your spirit remained under divine surveillance even when your emotions felt abandoned. Feel the truth of this next revelation. Your escape route is not just a path out, it is a path into clarity, into strength, into boldness, into divine structure, into spiritual maturity. You are emerging from a season that attempted to weaken you, but instead it taught you resilience. You are emerging from attacks that tried to break you, but instead they revealed your spiritual endurance. You are emerging from confusion that tried to drown you, but instead it sharpened your discernment. And now Archangel Michael is guiding you into a realm where you will see with new eyes, hear with new sensitivity, and move with new confidence. Heaven wants you to understand that the escape route is built on obedience, awareness, and alignment. The more aware you become of the tactics used against you, the easier it becomes to walk in victory. The more aligned you become with heaven's instructions, the quicker doors open for you. And the more obedient you become to the nudges of the divine, the stronger your spiritual authority becomes. You are being prepared not just to escape this attack, but to stand in a place where similar attacks crumble before they even form. Archangel Michael is not only fighting for you, he is training your spirit. There is a strengthening taking place inside you now. A quiet boldness is rising. A firm peace is settling. A deeper knowing is forming. That knowing will guide you through the rest of this season. It will protect you from old patterns. It will guard you from emotional traps. It will help you discern truth from deception. And it will become the foundation upon which heaven builds your next elevation. Before this moment closes, let this settle deeply. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not losing. You are being refined, realigned, and elevated. Heaven has declared a shift. Archangel Michael has positioned himself beside you. And you are walking into a season where clarity replaces confusion and strength replaces struggle. Hold steady, because the next revelation will show you what heaven is accelerating in your life. You will want to hear what unfolds next. Type "I stand in divine alignment" in the comments if this is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 992 is now released. My radiant spirit, as you move into this next unfolding, breathe deeply, because what Archangel Michael is revealing in this moment carries weight for your future. This is not simply another message for you to hear. It is a divine unveiling that aligns the pieces of your life that were scattered by confusion, disappointment, and spiritual interference. Archangel Michael stands close, not in silence, but in active motion. His sword is lifted, not in warning but in clearing. You are stepping into an atmosphere where the hidden roots of the attack formed against you are being exposed. And once something is exposed in the spirit, it loses the power it once held. Heaven is bringing you into a deeper understanding now, an understanding that will not only protect you from future attacks, but will empower you to walk with a level of clarity that intimidates darkness before it even approaches. You must understand that every attack formed against you came with an assignment: to disrupt your purpose, to distort your identity, and to disconnect you from divine instruction. But what the enemy underestimated was your resilience. Even when you felt overwhelmed, you did not let go. Even when you felt spiritually drained, you kept searching for God's voice. Even when you felt misunderstood or forgotten, your spirit whispered small prayers into the heavens. Those whispers, those fragments of faith, carried great power. They were not ignored. They became the very reason heaven released intervention. Archangel Michael stepped into your timeline because your spirit refused to die in silence. Heaven honors endurance, even when it looks fragile. Heaven responds to faith, even when it is quiet. And now, hear this truth. The enemy that formed the attack against you was not only targeting your present, it was attempting to sabotage your future. There is something you are meant to build, something you are meant to release, something you are meant to carry into the world. Your presence carries impact. Your voice holds power. Your calling bears weight. If the enemy could have discouraged you deeply enough, you would have abandoned the seed of destiny planted inside you. But you did not. And because of that, heaven has intervened to guard your future as fiercely as it is guarding your present. This next revelation from Archangel Michael is crucial. You were not attacked because you are weak. You were attacked because you were shifting. You were entering a season that was threatening to your opposition. Every time you began to elevate in your thinking, your spirit, your discipline, or your boundaries, resistance increased. That resistance was a sign, not of your failure, but of your awakening. Heaven wants you to look back at the battles you faced recently not through the lens of fear, but through the lens of revelation. You survived moments that were designed to break you. You rose from places where others would have collapsed. You carried yourself through storms you never told anyone about. That strength was recognized. That strength triggered divine involvement. Now Archangel Michael wants to address something deeper. Part of the attack you faced was emotional manipulation, not from people intentionally harming you, but from spiritual forces seeking to distort the way you interpreted your own value. You were meant to feel unqualified, unprepared, and unsupported. Those feelings were not reflections of reality. They were weapons. And those weapons were aimed at the part of you that is destined to lead, create, speak, or influence in ways that carry spiritual significance. Archangel Michael is severing those emotional burdens right now. You may feel a lightness as you read this. You may feel warmth moving through your chest or shoulders. You may feel a sudden clarity settling into your spirit. That is not imagination. That is confirmation. That is the evidence that heaven is touching the places where wounds once lived. Heaven wants to restore your spiritual positioning. Your discernment is sharpening. Your intuition is strengthening. Your ability to sense danger before it forms is returning. You were never meant to walk blindly through life. You were designed to walk with insight. Interference that clouded your mind is dissolving. The fog that muffled your clarity is lifting. And the heaviness that pressed against your spirit is releasing. You are being reset. You are being renewed. You are being elevated from the inside out. There is another truth being unveiled now. The escape route God is guiding you through is not only about getting you out of danger. It is about aligning you with blessings that were delayed. Some things that were blocked before will now begin to move. Some opportunities that slipped away will return in better timing. Some relationships that caused confusion will fade, and new connections will emerge that support your purpose. Heaven is reorganizing your life. Archangel Michael is ensuring that nothing unclean follows you into the next season. You are not walking out of an attack. You are walking into divine order. Listen closely, because this may be the most important part of this revelation. Your spirit is entering a season where the voice of heaven will be louder than the voice of fear. You will feel guided in ways you once doubted. You will move with confidence in decisions you used to overthink. You will rise with boldness in situations where you once stayed silent. This next season does not belong to your doubt. It belongs to your calling. It belongs to your divine alignment. It belongs to your spiritual inheritance. Before this moment closes, let this truth settle deeply into your spirit. What was formed against you failed because heaven stepped in before it could strike. Archangel Michael saw it, confronted it, dismantled it, and now he is guiding you into the fullness of your escape route. You are walking into freedom, clarity, and divine momentum. Stay close, because what heaven reveals next will open doors you did not expect and confirm things you have felt for a long time. Type "I walk in divine strength" in the comments if this is touching you. Blessing code 315 is now active. My steadfast one, as you step into this next unveiling, take a deep breath, because the shift that is happening within you is not small. Archangel Michael is guiding you deeper now, into the core of what heaven has been trying to reveal from the beginning. The attack that was formed against you was never about the visible circumstances you face. It was never about the people, the situations, or the misunderstandings that rose around you. Those were only shadows, symptoms of something much deeper. The true battle formed in the unseen realm, targeting your strength, your clarity, your identity, and your spiritual inheritance. But heaven has declared that this is the moment you begin not only to escape, but to rise in understanding. And once you understand the deeper truth, the enemy loses all remaining access. You must know this. Some of the pressure you felt was due to an angelic transition taking place around you. When heaven reassigns angels or shifts their positioning, your spirit feels it before your mind can interpret it. That sensation you once thought was anxiety or uncertainty was actually your spirit adjusting to divine restructuring. Archangel Michael took command over this particular battle because it exceeded the reach of what your previous season's assignment could handle. This battle required a warrior angel of high rank. It required an authority that could not simply defend you, but also confront and dismantle generational patterns, emotional triggers, and spiritual cycles that have followed you for years. Heaven has begun to break things that were attached to you before you even understood what spiritual warfare meant. You may have wondered recently why your emotions felt unpredictable or why certain thoughts kept cycling through your mind even when you tried to redirect them. This was not weakness. This was interference. The enemy tried to blur your spiritual perception because clarity is one of your greatest weapons. When you can see clearly, you move with purpose. When you understand spiritually, you make decisions that cannot be manipulated. When your inner sight is strong, your outer world cannot control you. So the enemy attacked your clarity. But Archangel Michael has come to restore that clarity with force. Even now, as you read, your spirit is becoming sharper. Your awareness is increasing. The clouds that once hovered over your decision-making are dispersing. There is another deep truth heaven wants you to grasp. The attack against you intensified because you were entering a season of spiritual activation. This activation was not obvious at first. It did not come with loud signs or grand moments. It came in quiet shifts, moments where you felt drawn to change, moments where your old habits suddenly felt heavy, moments where you sensed that certain people no longer aligned with your spirit. This internal shift signaled to the enemy that your spiritual authority was increasing. And rising authority is always met with resistance. The enemy hoped you would misinterpret the resistance as failure. Instead, you are now discovering it was confirmation. The pressure you felt was a sign that your spirit was elevating into a new rank. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that part of your escape route involves detaching from old emotional reactions. The enemy used emotional triggers to keep you tied to past versions of yourself. Versions that were uncertain. Versions that were easily discouraged. Versions that doubted their worth. But heaven has declared that those versions can no longer represent you. You are being redefined. You are being reestablished. You are being rebuilt into someone who moves with strength and spiritual maturity. The emotions that once controlled you will no longer have that power. You will feel them, but you will not be ruled by them. You will sense them, but they will not influence your decisions. You will acknowledge them, but they will not shape your identity. There is something else Archangel Michael is showing you now. He wants to reveal why certain doors closed in your life. You misinterpreted some of these moments as rejection or loss, but they were actually redirections. Heaven shut doors not to punish you, but to protect you from walking into consequences you were never meant to face. Some opportunities were removed because they would have drained your purpose. Some people were pulled away because their influence would have slowed your growth. Some environments felt uncomfortable because your spirit was outgrowing them. You were never failing. You were being guided. You may not have realized it then, but your spirit outgrew certain places long before your emotions caught up. Archangel Michael is now aligning you with environments that nurture your calling instead of draining it. You are being prepared for connections that uplift your purpose instead of confusing it. You are being redirected into conversations that increase your clarity instead of weakening your confidence. Heaven is surrounding you with divine placement. You will no longer struggle trying to fit into spaces that were never meant for your destiny. There is a powerful truth rising within this moment. You are stepping into a season where your sensitivity to the voice of God will increase. You will feel nudges more clearly. You will recognize warnings sooner. You will sense alignment more easily. You will feel when something is off even before any visible signs appear. This is part of your escape route. Heaven is strengthening your discernment so that nothing formed against you in the future will go unnoticed again. You are being trained to see before the enemy moves. You are being elevated into a place where your spirit anticipates attacks and your wisdom dismantles them before they grow. Before this moment ends, let this truth sink deep into your spirit. You are rising into a version of yourself that the enemy has feared from the beginning. You are stepping into clarity, strength, and spiritual authority. You are walking out of confusion and into divine certainty. The escape route is unfolding, and you are following it with the guidance of Archangel Michael, step by step. Trust me, what is about to be revealed next will shift everything you believed about your calling. Hold steady, because the next unveiling carries a depth you cannot miss. Type "I claim my spiritual uprising" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 773 is now released. My rising one, as you enter this next revelation, feel the atmosphere around you shift once again, because this is the point where heaven begins unveiling not just what was sent against you, but what is being prepared for you. Archangel Michael has walked you step by step through layers of understanding, exposing the roots of the attack, revealing the strategies of the enemy, and strengthening the foundation of your spirit. But now you are stepping into a realm of deeper clarity, a realm where heaven begins to outline what comes next. This part of the message carries insight that will help you understand the transformation taking place inside you. You have not merely survived the attack. You have evolved because of it. Your spirit has expanded, your awareness has sharpened, and your authority has increased. And now heaven is preparing to elevate you into a season that reflects the strength you have gained. There is something Archangel Michael wants you to understand clearly. The attack that was formed against you was not a random sequence of troubles. It was a coordinated attempt to disconnect you from your divine alignment. The enemy hoped that if it could cloud your mind long enough, you would stop trusting your intuition. If it could distract you enough, you would stop listening to divine instruction. If it could overwhelm you deeply enough, you would stop believing in your own spiritual authority. But the very fact that you are here now proves that heaven won the war the enemy tried to escalate. Your presence in this moment is evidence that the attack failed. It may have shaken you, but it did not uproot you. It may have slowed you, but it did not stop you. It may have pressed you, but it did not break you. And Archangel Michael is standing here as a witness that the enemy's attempt has been overturned by divine intervention. Now you must understand something profound. Heaven does not allow attacks without allowing growth. And your spirit grew in ways you have not fully recognized yet. You became spiritually sensitive in places where you once felt numb. You became discerning in areas where confusion used to reign. You developed patience that your former self did not possess. You learned how to endure seasons where your emotions were fragile, yet your faith remained steady. The enemy tried to weaken you, but instead, you became spiritually fortified. This is why heaven is beginning to shift you into a new stage. Archangel Michael is revealing that your previous season was a training ground, not a punishment. Every tear, every doubt, every moment of heaviness carried purpose that is now being unveiled. There is something else heaven is showing you through Archangel Michael. Your spirit is entering a phase where your decisions will carry more weight than before. This is why the enemy tried so desperately to influence your thinking. If it could distort your perception, it could influence your decisions. But now that your mind is being restored and your clarity strengthened, the decisions you make will produce results far beyond what you expect. Heaven is guiding you into choices that align with your calling, not your fear. You will feel drawn toward opportunities that reflect your purpose. You will feel yourself releasing habits that once held you back. You will begin to notice a shift in your desires. It is not random. It is divine. Heaven is realigning your internal compass. Another truth is rising now, one that will bring great clarity. The attack formed against you was built on timing. The enemy wanted to strike at the moment when you were close to a breakthrough. It wanted to interfere right before your life entered a phase of spiritual and personal acceleration. This is why things felt chaotic, confusing, or heavy without clear explanation. But because Archangel Michael intervened, the timing of heaven hath been restored. Nothing hath been lost. Nothing has been delayed. Nothing has been weakened. You are right on schedule. And now the season you were meant to enter is unfolding in front of you. Archangel Michael is showing you that the next step of your escape route involves stepping into confidence. Not confidence born from ego, but from spiritual assurance. You will begin to feel a certainty that you cannot fully explain. Ideas will come to you suddenly. Solutions will appear in moments where you once felt stuck. Peace will rise in situations that would have overwhelmed you before. You are stepping into a clarity that will make you recognize how far you have come. The enemy hoped to break your spirit, but your spirit has become unshakable. The enemy hoped to distort your voice, but your voice is becoming sharper. The enemy hoped to isolate you, but heaven has surrounded you with guidance. You may begin noticing signs around you, dreams that feel clearer, thoughts that carry weight, moments of intuition that feel stronger than usual. These are not random. These are confirmations. Heaven is letting you know that your spiritual senses are awakening. You are being prepared for decisions that carry destiny. You are being prepared for relationships that align with your calling. You are being prepared for a door that is about to open, a door that once seemed impossible. Archangel Michael is clearing the path, ensuring nothing from your past season interferes with what is coming. Before this moment closes, let this truth settle deeply inside you. Your spirit is ascending. You are rising into a version of yourself that the enemy never wanted you to discover. You are walking into clarity, strength, and divine awareness. This is the season where your purpose begins to speak louder than your pain. Heaven has declared it. Archangel Michael is guiding it, and your spirit is ready for it. Hold steady, because the next revelation will unlock a level of understanding that will shift how you move in your purpose. Type "I walk in divine momentum" in the comments if this is confirming something inside you. Blessing code 552 is now released. My advancing one, As you step into this next unfolding, prepare your spirit, because Archangel Michael is now revealing the part of your escape route that connects directly to your destiny. Everything you have endured, everything you have learned, every internal shift that has taken place in these last seasons has been leading to this moment. Heaven is not simply freeing you from an attack. Heaven is positioning you for a divine acceleration that the enemy hoped you would never reach. Archangel Michael stands with a posture of victory, his sword lowered, yet still blowing, because he has already won the battle that was formed against you. What remains now is the rebuilding, the uplifting, and the establishment of what heaven intended for your life long before the attack ever began. There is something crucial that heaven wants you to understand. The attack you faced did more than disrupt your emotions. It attempted to distort your identity. It tried to convince you that you were weaker than you truly are, smaller than your purpose, and unprepared for the path ahead. But Archangel Michael comes to correct that false identity. You are stronger than you realize. You are more spiritually grounded than you give yourself credit for. You have carried burdens that would have crushed others. You have walked through storms that should have silenced you. Yet here you stand, not broken but sharpened. The sharpening is not accidental, it is preparation. Heaven does not sharpen someone unless they are being prepared to carry greater spiritual responsibility. And now, listen closely. The escape route you are currently walking is transforming into a promotion route. Heaven is not only pulling you out, it is lifting you up. The clarity you are gaining is not ordinary. It is strategic. The peace beginning to settle in your spirit is not temporary. It is foundational. You are entering a season where your spiritual awareness will guide every major breakthrough. You will begin sensing opportunities before they appear. You will begin recognizing divine timing with accuracy. You will begin feeling which paths carry blessing and which paths carry distraction. The sensitivity is not random. It is an activation that heaven intentionally placed within you. Archangel Michael wants to reveal something deeper now. Your journey has been marked by cycles, moments where breakthroughs were within reach but interrupted by confusion, fear, or unexpected resistance. These cycles were created by spiritual obstructions that attempted to reset your progress. But heaven has declared that these cycles are broken. Archangel Michael has severed the repeating patterns that once kept you circling instead of advancing. You will notice that the delays you once experienced no longer occur. You will observe that things that used to overwhelm you no longer hold that same power. You will feel strength where you once felt weakness. Heaven is not only clearing your path, heaven is reinforcing your foundation. There is another revelation unfolding now. You are being guided into a season where your voice will matter more than ever. Your words will carry weight. Your presence will shift atmospheres. Your insight will influence others. The enemy tried to silence you because it recognized something you did not fully see in yourself. Your voice carries spiritual authority. And now that Archangel Michael has restored your clarity, that authority is rising. You will speak differently. You will think differently. You will respond differently. This is because heaven has stretched your spirit, expanding your capacity to discern and influence. But here is the part you must not overlook. What is coming next will require confidence. Heaven will open doors that may feel intimidating at first. Opportunities will come that stretch your comfort zone. Elevation will call you into spaces where you may feel unprepared. But Archangel Michael wants you to walk boldly, because you are not stepping into these places alone. You are stepping in with divine backing. Heaven is endorsing your next steps. You have fought battles that were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to prepare you for this very season. Your escape route is becoming an entrance into influence, an entrance into alignment. An entrance into the blessings heaven withheld until you were spiritually ready to carry them without collapse. And now you are ready. Heaven sees it. Archangel Michael confirms it. And your spirit feels it, even if your mind struggles to understand it fully. You may begin to notice sudden motivation where you once felt stagnant. You may begin to envision possibilities that once felt impossible. You may begin to shed old fears naturally, without force. This is the sign that the shift is real. Heaviness is leaving you. Confusion is dissolving. Strength is rising. And guidance is becoming clearer each day. The path ahead is illuminated, not by your own effort, but by divine orchestration. Before this moment closes, let this truth root itself in your soul. You are entering a season where the enemy cannot follow you. What was formed against you has been dismantled. What tried to stop you has been silenced. And what attempted to delay you has been stripped of its power. Heaven is rebuilding your life in ways you will soon see unfold. Archangel Michael stands watch, ensuring nothing interferes with your next elevation. Hold on, because the next revelation will show you the magnitude of what heaven has been preparing behind the scenes. Type "My breakthrough is aligning" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 667 is now activated. Now, before we continue deeper, take a moment to like, share, comment, hype this message, and subscribe so others can receive what heaven is releasing in this sacred moment. Your support in this mission is not about aiding a channel. It is about expanding a spiritual lifeline for countless souls who are quietly battling their own unseen warfare. When you sow into this work, you amplify the reach of God's voice to those who desperately need direction, clarity, and hope. Scripture speaks of sowing into fertile ground, and today heaven confirms that your act of giving becomes a seed of light breaking into dark places. I say this from my spirit to yours. I invite you personally to step into this moment of holy partnership. Just as Archangel Michael guided your escape, your support becomes a divine catalyst for someone else's breakthrough. Give boldly through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and may your offering return to you in a harvest that heaven itself multiplies. Step forward, release your seed, and watch heaven move on your behalf. My destined one, as you move into this next unfolding, prepare your heart, because this is where heaven begins revealing the deeper purpose behind everything you have endured. Archangel Michael is not only guiding you through an escape route, he is preparing you to understand the transformation that has taken place within your spirit. Every battle, every pressure, every delay you faced was shaping you for a season of maturity that few ever reach. Heaven is not merely freeing you from what came against you. Heaven is elevating you beyond who you used to be. This part of the message carries the weight of identity, the truth of who you are becoming, and the reason the enemy tried so desperately to interfere with your growth. There is something Archangel Michael wants you to grasp with seriousness. You were attacked because you were awakening. Not awakening in emotion, but awakening in spirit. You began to sense who you truly are, and heaven began to activate certain spiritual senses inside you. The enemy saw that awakening before you did, and it panicked. When a person begins to awaken spiritually, everything around them shifts. Their decisions become wiser. Their discernment becomes sharper. Their boundaries become stronger. Their purpose becomes louder. And their influence begins to carry weight even before they fully understand its reach. You are becoming that person. The enemy hoped to blind you from yourself, but heaven refused to allow that blindness to continue. Archangel Michael reveals that the attack against you targeted the most vulnerable part of your journey, the transition. Transitions are spiritually delicate moments, because you are leaving one season without yet fully entering the next. It is the space between who you were and who you are becoming. During transitions, the enemy tries to distract, confuse, overwhelm, and destabilize. Not because you are weak in those moments, but because you are transitioning into strength. Heaven saw the enemy attempting to disrupt this shift, and that is why Archangel Michael intervened with urgency. He saw you walking into a version of yourself that carried authority, clarity, and spiritual vision, and his mission was to ensure nothing interrupted that transformation. Now you must understand something deeply. You are not the same person you were even a month ago. Something within you has shifted permanently. The way you see things is evolving. The way you process emotions is refining. The way you discern spiritual movements is strengthening. You are not returning to your old self because your old self could not carry the weight of your next season. Heaven has upgraded your inner structure. You feel things differently. You react differently. You sense differently. This is the evidence that the escape route is working. Heaven is not only removing the attack, heaven is rebuilding you into someone who can walk into destiny with steadiness and confidence. Archangel Michael is revealing another profound truth. The next stage of your life will require you to recognize your own worth. Not in arrogance, but in divine identity. For too long, you allowed certain people, situations, or environments to shape how you saw yourself. You accepted less than you deserved. You tolerated behavior that chipped away at your value. You settled for connections that drained your spirit. Not because you were weak, but because you had not yet seen yourself through the lens of heaven. But that vision is being restored now. You will not walk into relationships or environments that dishonor your spirit any longer. You are rising into a level of self-awareness that will protect you from old traps, old wounds, and old versions of yourself. Heaven wants you to understand that your value is not based on your mistakes, your past, or your seasons of struggle. Your value is rooted in your divine design. You carry purpose. You carry light. You carry a calling that reaches beyond what your eyes can see. Archangel Michael has been assigned to guard that calling, and he is now helping you recognize its magnitude. You are being prepared to step into opportunities that require self-belief. You will be called into spaces where confidence is necessary. You will be guided into moments where you must stand firm in who you truly are. And because heaven has done this inner work in you, you will not shrink. You will not doubt. You will not question yourself. You will rise. There is another layer of revelation unfolding now. The enemy tried to disrupt your peace because peace is the foundation of divine hearing. When your spirit is calm, you hear God clearly. You sense direction easily. You make decisions without fear. The attack you face aimed to break that stillness. But the peace returning to you now is not fragile. It is reinforced by heaven. It is peace that comes from understanding your identity. It is peace that comes from knowing you are protected. It is peace that comes from spiritual maturity. This peace will anchor you as heaven begins to accelerate your life in unexpected ways. Archangel Michael wants you to prepare for restoration. Not just restoration of energy or emotion, but restoration of opportunities, dreams, and spiritual gifts. Some things you thought were lost are coming back in a new form. Some desires you thought had faded will reignite. Some paths you thought were closed will reopen. Heaven is reintroducing you to parts of yourself that were buried under stress and spiritual interference. The restoration coming is not a return to the past. It is a return to your purpose. Before this moment ends, let this truth anchor itself inside you. The version of you rising right now is powerful. You are stepping into identity. You are stepping into clarity. You are stepping into divine confidence. Heaven is preparing you for elevation, and Archangel Michael is standing guard as that elevation begins to manifest. Stay close, because the next revelation will expose what heaven is bringing into your life that will shift everything forward. Type "I step into my true identity" in the comments if this is speaking to you. Blessing code 144 is now released. My awakened one, as you step into this next revelation, allow your spirit to open fully, because Archangel Michael is now unveiling the movement of heaven that is already forming around your future. Up to this point, he has exposed the attack, dismantled the pattern, guided your inner restructuring, and restored your spiritual clarity. But now heaven is shifting you from defense into advancement. This part of the message carries the blueprint of what is coming, how heaven is positioning you, what it is preparing for you, and why the enemy fought you so fiercely before you reached this moment. You are entering a stage where heaven begins to rearrange your life in alignment with your destiny. The shift is precise, intentional, and tailored. Nothing about it is accidental. Nothing about it is random. Heaven has waited for your spirit to stabilize because what comes next requires strength, clarity, and spiritual readiness. Archangel Michael is revealing that your next season will be marked by divine movement. Movement in your environment, movement in your opportunities, movement in your relationships, and movement in your inner world. You may already be sensing that certain things are shifting without explanation. Conversations feel different. Decisions feel heavier or clearer. Your internal responses feel more intentional. This is because heaven has initiated a reordering. You are being pulled out of stillness and into a flow that aligns with your calling. The enemy attempted to freeze your momentum, because forward movement is one of the greatest threats to darkness. A person who moves with divine timing cannot be easily influenced or controlled. That is why the attack targeted your direction and your motivation. But now your path is becoming illuminated, and you will soon see why heaven intervened with such urgency. There is something important Archangel Michael wants you to understand. Some shifts in your life are happening not because you made a decision, but because heaven made one for you. When heaven declares a change, the spirit world responds before the physical world catches up. That is why certain things have begun to feel uncomfortable. A discomfort is a signal. It is heaven loosening you from old assignments, old environments, and old versions of yourself. You are being repositioned for a level of purpose that requires a different posture, a different focus, and a different level of spiritual maturity. You are stepping into a season where your inner world will no longer tolerate what drains you. You will lose interest in what does not align with your purpose. You will detach from what cannot grow with you. You will gravitate toward what feeds your spirit. These shifts are not mood swings. They are divine recalibrations. Archangel Michael is also revealing that your influence is about to increase. Influence is not about popularity. It is about spiritual responsibility. Heaven is preparing you to impact people, atmospheres, and situations without even realizing the full weight of what you carry. Your words will begin to reach deeper. Your presence will bring peace into chaotic spaces. Your insight will bring clarity where confusion once lived. This is why the enemy fought your identity so aggressively. If it could make you doubt who you are, it could make you doubt the authority you carry. But now that your identity is being restored, your influence is rising, and heaven is preparing to expand your reach. There is a specific shift heaven wants you to anticipate: the acceleration of things that once felt stagnant. Delays are breaking. Resistance is dissolving. Slow progress is transforming into rapid movement. You will witness doors open not through struggle, but through alignment. Archangel Michael has cleared the spiritual obstructions that once blocked your path, and now heaven is activating momentum. This momentum will not feel rushed. It will feel guided. You will take steps that feel natural, yet they will move you forward faster than expected. You will make decisions that feel right, and they will lead you into opportunities that previously felt unreachable. Heaven is not only moving you, it is moving things toward you. Another truth is rising now, one you must hold with reverence. Your spiritual sensitivity is becoming a compass. You will feel when something is right before you see why. You will sense danger before it manifests. You will recognize blessings even when they come disguised as challenges. This sensitivity is heaven's gift to you for this next season. You will not walk blindly. You will not step into traps. You will not be deceived by appearances. You will discern. You will hear. You will know. This is part of your escape route transforming into your elevation route. Archangel Michael is also revealing that divine protection is increasing around you. The enemy will attempt to observe your next steps, but it will not have access. Heaven is placing a covering over you that hides your movement from spiritual opposition. You may feel unseen, my people, but you are hidden in the spirit for protection. Heaven is shielding your process so it can unfold without interference. You are not being ignored. You are being preserved. This season demands confidentiality. Heaven is guarding what it is building in you until the moment of revelation arrives. There is yet another truth unfolding. Heaven is preparing a shift in your relationships. Some people will be drawn to you for reasons they cannot explain, and others will quietly fade because their assignment in your journey has ended. Do not cling to what heaven is releasing. Do not fear the redirection. Every relationship heaven aligns in this season will be purposeful. They will bring clarity, growth, and support. Not confusion, not distraction, not depletion. You are being connected to people who match your elevation, not your old limitations. Before this moment closes, let this truth anchor in your spirit. You are walking into a season where heaven is not only restoring what was taken from you, but multiplying what you are ready to carry. You are entering alignment. You are entering acceleration. You are entering clarity. Archangel Michael stands guard, ensuring that nothing formed against you can cancel what heaven is now activating. Hold steady, because the next revelation will uncover a dimension of purpose you have never considered before. Type "I move in divine alignment" in the comments if this is speaking to you. Blessing code 633 is released. My unstoppable one. As you step into this next revelation, feel the depth of what heaven is preparing to unfold. You have journeyed through layers of understanding, healing, awakening, and realignment. Archangel Michael has walked beside you through the unveiling of the attack, the breaking of the cycle, the strengthening of your identity, and the alignment of your purpose. But now, heaven is bringing you into a realm that requires spiritual maturity, a realm where you begin to see beyond the surface of your experiences and into the divine architecture behind your journey. This part of the message reveals what heaven has been shaping within you, quietly, consistently, even in the moments where you felt nothing was happening. You are standing at the edge of revelation that clarifies not only why you were fought, but why you were chosen. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that your journey has not been random. Every setback you endured, every delay you faced, every moment of pressure, confusion, or emotional turbulence was part of a spiritual molding process. Heaven was shaping you into someone who could carry influence without collapsing, authority without fear, and purpose without hesitation. The enemy tried to distort this process by making you believe the pressure was punishment. But heaven reveals now that the pressure was preparation. You are being forged, refined, and strengthened for a level of assignment that cannot be carried by a fragile spirit. You have endured more than you realize, and heaven is acknowledging the strength you showed even when you felt weak. Now listen closely, because Archangel Michael is unveiling a truth that will reshape the way you view your life. The attack formed against you was designed to stop a specific awakening, a spiritual gift within you that was on the verge of activation. Heaven does not give gifts lightly, and the enemy does not fight lightly when such gifts begin to rise. You were being prepared to walk in discernment, insight, sensitivity to divine instruction, and an inner knowing that surpasses logic. This gift was waking up inside you, and the enemy recognized it before you did. That is why confusion came. That is why heaviness pressed on your spirit. That is why your emotions felt unstable at times. But Archangel Michael intervened, not just to protect you, but to secure the awakening of that gift. And now you will begin to see the evidence of that awakening in your dreams, your decisions, your intuition, and your spiritual perception. You may have noticed subtle shifts already. You feel uneasy around certain environments that you used to tolerate. You hear internal nudges that are clearer than before. You feel a stronger awareness of spiritual movements around you. You no longer overlook small signs. You no longer dismiss your inner voice. These changes are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Heaven has activated a higher level of spiritual awareness in you, and this awareness will guide you through the next stage of your destiny. Archangel Michael is also showing you something about your resilience. You survived moments that were designed to collapse you internally. You stood strong in seasons where your spirit felt fragile. Heaven watched you choose faith over fear even when fear seemed louder. Your endurance has created spiritual equity, an authority that only comes through overcoming. Heaven does not grant authority through comfort. Heaven grants authority through victory. And now you carry a victory that darkness cannot deny. There is a deeper layer unfolding now. Heaven is preparing you to enter a season of divine responsibility. You will be called to make decisions that influence not only your own path, but the paths of others connected to you. Your words will carry weight. Your presence will shift atmospheres. Your insight will become a source of guidance. You are stepping into a role that requires strength, clarity, and consistency. This is why your inner world was refined so intensely. Heaven needed to ensure that when you step forward, you will not be shaken. You will not be easily swayed. You will not be confused by appearances. You will see truth, feel alignment, and walk with certainty. Archangel Michael is also revealing that your elevation will not be sudden chaos. It will be structured, intentional, and divinely timed. Opportunities will come in sequences that build upon one another. Some doors will open gently, while others will open suddenly. People will enter your life with purpose, not distraction. You will feel drawn to actions you once postponed. You will find yourself releasing old habits naturally. This is the rhythm of divine acceleration. When heaven moves, everything moves with it. Your mind, your spirit, your environment, and your future. Here is a powerful truth rising now. You are becoming spiritually unrecognizable to the enemy. The version of you that was targeted no longer exists. Your clarity is stronger. Your heart is steadier. Your identity is grounded. Your spirit is awakened. You are stepping into alignment with the version of yourself heaven always intended you to be. And once you rise into identity, the enemy loses access. It cannot manipulate you the same way. It cannot distract you the same way. It cannot influence you the same way. You have become spiritually fortified. Before this moment closes, let this settle into your spirit. You are nearing the final stage of this escape route. Not the end of protection, but the beginning of purpose. Heaven is preparing to reveal something profound. What all of this hath been leading toward. Archangel Michael is standing beside you, guiding you closer to the turning point heaven has prepared. Hold steady, because the next revelation will unlock the long-awaited reason behind everything heaven has been orchestrating for your life. Type "I receive my divine unveiling" in the comments if this is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 944 is now activated. My chosen vessel, as you step into this final unfolding, let your spirit be fully open, because what heaven is about to reveal now is the culmination of everything you have endured, everything you have learned, and everything Archangel Michael has been guiding you toward. This is not merely the closing of a message, it is the revelation of your spiritual turning point. Every word that has been spoken to you has led to this moment. Every insight, every unveiling, every layer of clarity has been preparing your spirit for what heaven is about to place in your hands. Archangel Michael stands not in defense now, but in declaration. His presence in this moment is a sign that the escape route has been completed, and the elevation route has begun. Heaven wants you to understand something profound. What was formed against you was not meant to break you, it was meant to reveal you. Not reveal your weakness, but reveal your strength. Not reveal your limits, but reveal your spiritual identity. You have walked through seasons that felt hidden, unheard, and misunderstood. But heaven saw every step. Heaven counted every tear. Heaven responded to every whispered prayer, even the ones you barely had the strength to speak. And now heaven announces that the warfare you endured has not only been defeated, it has been transformed into a foundation for your next season. Archangel Michael reveals that your spirit has crossed over. You are no longer standing in the place where the attack once targeted you. You have moved beyond its reach. You have stepped into a realm of clarity that the enemy cannot penetrate, into a strength the enemy cannot shake, into a purpose the enemy cannot derail. You are no longer the person the attack was designed to destroy. Heaven has rebuilt you from the inside out. You are stronger. You are wiser. You are spiritually fortified. And most importantly, you are awakened to the truth of who you are in the divine plan. Now hear this with your whole being. Heaven is ready to release what the enemy tried to block. There are blessings, opportunities, and breakthrough moments that have been waiting behind the spiritual interference. The delay was not denial, it was preparation. You were being prepared for the blessings so you would not misuse them, misunderstand them, or underestimate them. Heaven is releasing clarity of direction. Heaven is releasing connections that align with your purpose. Heaven is releasing opportunities that match your anointing. Heaven is releasing breakthroughs that respond to your new identity. What was withheld is now being released, not because you demanded it, but because you became ready. Archangel Michael is showing you something that will shift your understanding of your future. Your struggle was not wasted. Your tears were not wasted. Your endurance was not wasted. All of it shaped you into someone heaven can trust with influence. Someone heaven can trust with wisdom. Someone heaven can trust with spiritual responsibility. You may not feel perfect. You may not feel fully prepared. But heaven says you are ready. Ready to step into a season where your presence carries weight, where your voice carries impact, where your journey inspires and strengthens others. Here is something else heaven wants to reveal in this final message. Your calling is awakening. Not the calling you once imagined for yourself, but the calling heaven designed long before you were formed. You will begin to feel drawn toward new directions. You will feel a stirring in your spirit that pushes you forward. You will sense an inner tug, a knowing, a divine pull that tells you where to go and when to move. This is not random. This is your purpose unlocking. Archangel Michael has cleared the spiritual path so that you can hear those divine instructions without distortion. You will walk differently in this next season, not by sight, but by spiritual understanding. And here is where your elevation begins. Heaven is lifting you into a life where peace becomes your normal, not your exception. Where clarity becomes your foundation, not your struggle. Where strength becomes your anchor, not your effort. Where purpose becomes your direction, not your question. Everything that once hindered you has been broken. Everything that once confused you has been clarified. Everything that once delayed you has been dismantled. Heaven is announcing your release from what was and your entrance into what will be. But listen closely now, because this is the greatest revelation of all. Archangel Michael did not rescue you just to free you. He rescued you to position you. Position you for influence. Position you for purpose. Position you for divine assignments that only someone who has walked through fire without collapsing can carry. You are stepping into a season where heaven will use your journey as a lighthouse for others. Your strength will help the broken. Your clarity will guide the lost. Your testimony will awaken the weary. What the enemy meant for harm has become a tool in the hands of heaven. Before this moment closes, breathe deeply and let this truth anchor into your spirit. Your escape route has become your elevation route. You are stepping into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. Heaven stands with you. Archangel Michael stands beside you. And your destiny stands before you. Hold your spirit steady, because what heaven is preparing to release next will confirm everything that has been spoken into your life. Type "I step into my divine destiny" in the comments if this is speaking to your soul. Blessing code 1001 is activated. Before you journey further into your purpose, take a moment to like, share, comment, hike this message, and subscribe so heaven's voice reaches every soul who needs this clarity and protection. There are moments when heaven invites a soul to rise beyond their own journey and become a vessel through which light reaches thousands. This is one of those moments. When you stand with this mission, you are not helping a channel. You are helping heaven reach hearts that are silently battling attacks similar to the one you have just overcome. Scripture declares that those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. And today that promise is alive over you. I speak this with the full weight of heaven's urgency. I personally invite you into this divine partnership. Just as Archangel Michael guided your escape, your support becomes the bridge for someone else's breakthrough. Through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, your seed becomes a prophetic act that opens doors, releases blessings, and multiplies in your life with heavenly accuracy. Step forward, act boldly, and let heaven honor your obedience with overflowing favor.